Retired in their 50s, Kevin and Lareka have raised a family, and now they travel around the United States full time, living that RV life. Stay tuned to hear their story. Welcome to RV Out West. I'm your host, Brooks. My Family of Four's base camp is located in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, and our RV adventures radiate out from there. Please grab a mug of coffee and join us as we discuss RVing around the American West. From sweet camping spots, gear and equipment, to tips and tricks, we've got you covered. We are RV Out West. The older I get, the more and more I begin to realize that traditional housing, while it is a very smart investment for growing long-term wealth, also comes with so much more. Take, for example, that while my garage is very tidy and organized, it causes me stress and anxiety every time I go in there just to see a collection of stuff. When my wife and I moved back to Washington, everything we owned either fit in our two small grocery getter cars and one 4x4 by 8-foot U-Box from U-Haul. Now we are busting at the seams in a modest 2,100 square foot home. The idea of selling it all, downsizing into a 30-foot rig, and becoming a nomad is extremely appealing to me. To be in motion, guided by the seasons, and my every whim is a strong pull. My wife, on the other hand, not so much. Today on the show, joining us for a chat is Kevin and Lareka, who did just that. Kevin is a retired law enforcement officer, and so when he retired, they moved onto the road and have been traveling ever since. I'm really thrilled to have them on the show and for us to hear their story. Kevin and Lareka, thank you so much for joining us here on RV Out West.
Oh, our pleasure.
Of course.
Yeah, well, welcome. I'm really interested in always getting people's kind of the story that started it all. So, what inspired you both to embrace full-time RV living after retirement?
Oh, it's kind of funny because we've never been in an R I've been in an RV like once in my life, and Larika had never been in an RV. We never owned an RV. Um, it was kind of all started during COVID. We were, you know, retirement was kind of a few years away when COVID hit, and we are trying to think, hey, what's going to be next after I retire? What are we going to do? And honestly, we started watching some YouTube videos and found a couple of the big ones. And I think it all really was I told her, hey, when we retire, I want to go on a baseball tour. I want to rent an RV and tour all the baseball parks and kind of do that for a year. And we started talking about that. And she's like, well, if we're going to do that, I want to see other things in the areas, not just 32 baseball stadiums around the country.
Fair,
So we
fair.
so we started watching I started looking at YouTube and discovered the big ones, the KYDs and stuff, and discovered people live in RVs and travel full time. And it just something clicked in our heads that it would just be an amazing retirement life. And that kind of started the ball rolling with the research and trying to figure it out. And is this something we can really do?
Then when was it that you decided to, for lack of a better word, to pull the trigger and buy an RV?
I think we really started looking around 2021, right after COVID ended and they started doing RV shows and stuff again. We started looking around 2021 and took us about a year to find the one we wanted. Early to middle of 2022, we ordered our RV and had it special ordered. And then we went full time May of 2023.
So how has life on the road maybe changed your perspective on retirement?
I think it's I I don't know. I feel like when you're younger and you think about retirement, you just think about like old people sitting around retired. And I don't know, when we talked about retirement, we're like, we want to retire when we're young enough to keep moving and see things and enjoy things. And so it's just been this door that's been opened that we are able to grow closer together in retirement because you go raising kids, doing the family thing, you kind of are like 2 ships at times that pass by, just kinda seeing each other when you can, and then you get that back when your kids are grown, they move out. We wanted to make that count and connect, connect further. And so for us, it's just been a door that's been open where we've been able to just reconnect, see things we've never seen before, have this adventure, and still be young enough to do it.
Absolutely. And you know what's interesting is then now that you've had a chance to kind of look back, now that you've been on the road for, 2-ish years, what is something that you thought living the RV life full time was going to be like, and it turned out it's not what you thought it was?
I think you have to remember when you live in an RV full time and you're traveling full time, you're not on vacation every single day of your life. There are down days. There are days where you just hang out at the RV and you just live your life. You do your grocery shopping, your laundry, everything else. Every single day, I think it's kinda like that YouTube effect. Every single day isn't what you see other people experiencing. Every day you're not at the Grand Canyon. Every day you're not in the Florida Keys. Every day you're not doing all these amazing things. There are just normal days where you sit around, you watch TV all day, and you don't do much of anything.
And I think that is 100% fair. And I applaud the fact that your perspective on retirement, I know that's mine. So let's talk about your time in the Pacific Northwest. Tell me a bit about kind of high level where you kind of entered into the Pacific Northwest and kind of tootled around.
Yeah, so the way we travel, we call them loops because we always spend the winter here in our home state of Arizona. We have a seasonal RV spot here, and then each year, end of March, beginning of April, we kind of venture out from our spot here and we loop a section of the country and then we come back. So we've called them loops. So so just this year, we actually looped most of the PNW with the exception of Washington. We left here, wound up cutting through California, and we wound up in Brookings, Oregon,
Okay.
right on the Oregon-California border,
Yeah.
and we spent a month there and was able to do everything from the redwoods all the way up to all of the scenic drives along the coast and, the Thor's Well and all of that kinda stuff.
Mhm.
Bandon,
Yeah, all of those
um
fun places, Secret Beach,
Yeah. And
like
Depot Bay.
Yes, oh,
yep,
absolutely.
Yeah.
yep, all of that. And the way we travel is our first year out, we were fast
Yeah.
and moving because you're so excited, you're running on adrenaline. We love to stay places usually a month. Sometimes it's less if we just, if it's super touristy and it's super expensive, then we're like, okay, we can't stay a month. But most of the time when you stay a month, it's cheaper and you're not driving as much. And we like to just throw ourselves into the area we are. So we did how total in Oregon on the Oregon coast?
We did 6 weeks total on the
6
Oregon
weeks,
coast,
which was fantastic.
4 weeks in Brookings, and then 2 weeks up in Waldport,
Mhm.
and then we were able to experience that whole area.
And then we went over to Klamath Falls.
Then we did Klamath Falls for 2 weeks and did Crater Lake and everything that area of Oregon had to offer.
The waterfall crawl.
Yeah, we did a waterfall crawl on that highway with all the waterfalls.
Yep. Which was amazing.
Yeah.
And then we went over into Idaho for
Yeah, we went up into
a
Post
month.
Falls, Idaho, Coeur d'Alene area,
Yep.
and we did a month there. And
Yeah.
then we went down into Island Park, Idaho, just outside of West Yellowstone, and did 10 days there without ever going into Yellowstone or the Tetons. We did everything else in the area. We experienced that area not going into the parks because it was the really touristy time of year, and we've been there before, so we wanna do something different.
Mhm.
That absolutely makes sense. Wow. So that was quite an adventure. And spending 6 weeks on the Oregon coast, you
Oh,
really, really got, you know, under surface level with a visit like that and time spent in that area.
We didn't wanna leave.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't wanna leave the coast. It was just amazing.
beautiful.
Tell me about some of your favorite spots then on the Oregon coast.
So we loved Cape Perpetua State Park. We spent a lot of time there doing a lot of the trails. I love the green and the foresty, but I love the beach and the ocean. So getting the best of both worlds right there on a hike and you're not sweating, you're not like you're just I don't there's something about it. It is truly magical. Truly magical. And so I love that. We did that often. We went over
Yes.
and did that often. Thor's Well, we saw so many different times. And it's so cool because the tide is always changing. So it's always looking different over in that area. And when it's, that spouting horn, when it's going, sometimes it's huge, sometimes it's smaller. Like we went down and walked through a lot of it and experienced it. It was, I don't know. What do you think, babe?
Yeah, just all the coastal things,
Devil's Punch Bowl?
the Devil's Punch Bowl.
Did you make it to Hesita Head Lighthouse?
Yes, we did.
We did actually that hike.
Yeah, we did that hike, yeah.
Yeah.
And did you know that it is a haunted lighthouse?
We did
We-
read the signs, yeah,
And I
with the bed and breakfast.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Went and
Yeah.
talked to that guy. That's right.
Yeah,
did.
that's fun.
And that's a beautiful view as well up there.
Yes.
Man, gorgeous.
The day we were there, they were setting up for a wedding, so we couldn't go into the bed and breakfast and check it out. They were setting up for a private wedding, but it was still beautiful from the outside.
So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
make it all the way up to Astoria, or did you not make it all the way up?
We did that 2 years ago on our first loop.
Okay.
We actually had looped around, gone backwards, had done
Cannon Beach.
yeah, we wound up there and we did Cannon Beach and we kind of worked our way south from there a couple years ago, but had to cut our trip early and just kind of cut across and came back to Arizona for a family situation.
Mhm.
Okay.
So we've done technically the entire Oregon coast north to south. Just took us 2 different trips to do it.
So where is one or two places that have escaped you on your visits to the Pacific Northwest? What are those places, and then why are they on your list, and why are you not able to get there?
Washington.
Yeah, definitely Washington. We want to explore Washington in the ways that we explored Oregon.
Yes. It's just one of those things when we're planning the trips and we've got family and just timing it out. It just never worked out timing wise. It was always we were in a hurry and we didn't want to rush it. Like
Yeah,
Lareka
fair.
said, when we do Washington, we want to spend a significant amount of time there because apparently the coastal area from Washington is so much different from Eastern Washington and super far north where up near the Canada border. So we really want to experience all the different areas of Washington and give it its due justice. And we just haven't had the time to do it yet.
Yeah, so I've always liked to say, and I've said this a few different times on the show, but if we were to kind of take a map of Washington and make Seattle the center of the map, in any 4-hour direction, you have the Pacific Ocean, you have the temperate rainforests in like Olympic National Park, and there are only 5 temperate rainforests on the planet, and
Mm.
there's only one in the United States, and it's in Washington.
Oh,
You have high desert. You have the rolling wheat fields and wine country. You have, the Cascade Mountains, and so high alpine lakes and waterfalls. And then, of course, you have Canada to the north and Portland and Hood River to the south. I mean, it's just, there's so much ecological or ecosystem diversity here. It's just wild.
Mhm.
yeah, that's what we've heard. So we're gonna do it when we can give it its due justice.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
it's a fun place to be. And I will say this, since you are retired, stay in September.
Yeah.
Stay through September.
Okay. Good to-
After Labor Day, right? Kids are all back in school, so everything gets more quiet as families are beginning to find their routines again and school life and all of that. Their summer vacations are over, and it is sunny and 70, and it is the best weather ever.
Oh wow.
Really, I mean, I would say you want to be out by October 15th, honestly.
Yeah, we're by then we're usually heading back here to Arizona
Right.
to spend our winters and
The
enjoy.
rain comes mid-October.
okay.
Okay.
So as long as you're, but all of September is just stunning. It
Okay.
really is.
We'll take note of that.
One of the things I did want to talk with you, Kevin, is as I was just looking at your guys' social media channels and looking at what, some of those things, I saw that you're a retired law enforcement trainer.
Yes.
And so I would like to kind of just talk to you a little bit about firearms and RV travel and kind of that connection and just looking for, advice for what do you have for people who maybe are traveling and are looking, wanting to bring their legally owned firearms with them in their RV. What advice do you have?
All right, so first and foremost, beyond the safety part of it and knowing how to safely use firearms and carry them and keep them safe from unwanted hands and all that kind of stuff, the most important thing is you have to know the laws of each and every jurisdiction that you're going to be traveling through as an RVer because you could go on a road trip and pass through 9 different states and have 9 different sets of laws as far as the legality of carrying or not carrying, how you have to carry that. Does it have to be locked up? Can it be loaded? Can it not be loaded?
Right.
Every single jurisdiction has their own laws and rules and regulations as far as firearms are concerned. So you definitely have to know all of the rules as you're traveling through this country.
Do you have a good recommendation for like an online resource where people can go and search out their own information based on their travel path?
Oh my gosh, there's so many of them and private
Okay.
organizations that want you to pay for things. Honestly, I would just go to each individual state's laws and research it and know it yourself.
Got it.
Something like that, I don't know how much I would take other people's quote unquote word for it that, oh no, you're good in this state. Oh no, you're not good in this state. Unless you know it and you see the law yourself, that's gonna be the way you can justify it and
And
know the
do that
requirement.
research.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you manage then storage and safety? And we kind of already talked a little bit about compliance while you're on the move.
Well, in all honesty, as a retired police officer, a lot of those rules and laws and regulations don't apply. Retired police officers are covered by a House bill that was signed back in the 90s that we can carry and possess firearms in any state of the country, one rule across the board. So that's a federal rule. So fortunately for us, I don't have to abide by every single individual state's regulations. There's
Okay.
one set of regulations that covers me as a retired police officer around the country.
Got it. Okay. Have you ever encountered any unexpected challenges regarding your firearms while traveling?
No, not at all. Not at
Okay.
all.
Any last minute suggestions or advice you would have for anybody?
Yeah, training, like know how to use a firearm safely. Anybody and everybody who's traveling with you in your RV. So if you've got your spouse or kids or, you know, other family members, everybody in that household needs to know how to handle it safely, keeping it locked up because we all leave our RVs, during the day and go hiking and do whatever. And you want to make sure that's all safe. And I think the most important thing I would say is don't advertise. So many people out there like to brag about, I've got this, I've got that, stickers and all sorts of things. Don't let anybody know what you carry, how you carry it, where you carry it, or if you even have guns with you, because honestly, it's nobody's business but your own for your own personal safety and protection. There's no reason to be advertising that to the world that you've got guns in your RV because all the security systems in the world, we all know what RVs are like. They're not the hardest thing in
Right.
the world to
Right.
to break
Yeah.
into.
No, they're not. And have you ever watched? There's this guy on YouTube called the lock picking lawyer.
I have not.
Oh, check him out, man. That guy shows you just how really locks are kind of a joke. And
Mm.
he does like the coupler locks for RVs down to like deadbolts, to this and that, and how quickly he can pick them. It's wild.
Oh, geez, I have to look at that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Lock picking lawyer on YouTube. I'm just going to ask because I'm just curious, but has there ever been a circumstance or a situation while you've been traveling with your RV where you've needed to pull your firearm for personal safety? I'm not saying discharge it, but at least, you know, whatever.
No, not at all.
Okay. Let's talk about life lessons. I'm just curious. You guys are 15-ish, maybe. Let's see if I'm being honest with myself. 16 years ahead of me. I'm hoping it's more like a decade, but it's probably 16 years ahead of me. What has kind of the full-time RVing life taught you about yourselves and your relationship with each other, with your family, with your adult children now that are launched and living their own lives?
Good question. Let me think about this. What has it taught me? I think life is precious. And I think though, it's so funny. In today's world with our children, I think sometimes it's hard to separate and create boundaries because we want to do everything for our kids instead of make them grow up. It's just funny because it's not how we were raised, like, earning stuff and working and being, diligent is how you learned to survive in the world, and I worked in the schools before I retired, and just what I saw was just a mess and what we were doing with the next generation, and it was a lot of entitlement there, and parents wanted to be their kids' friends, and so when Kevin and I were talking about it, it was so hard. Our youngest son was living with us before we took off, and we gave him a year, and we said, "This is our plan. You need to figure it out. You need to," and he was working and all that. He just was living with us. And so he found roommates, got it all going. And when we left, it broke my mama heartstrings. I mean, it was hard. But at the same time, he came back around and he said he thanked us for making him grow up. And I feel like it's been so healthy for Kevin and I because he's my best friend, and I get to retire with my best friend, and I get to see the world and do these amazing things. I also think there needs to be space there to have my own thoughts and he have his own thoughts, and, it's balance. Everything is balance. And so when we come back to our home state, I get to fill up with my friends and family and my kids and my grandbaby. When we're out there, we just keep in contact. But it's just taught us to enjoy what we built, our legacy and our family, but then come back and reunite as one because that you forget that along life's journey together when you're caught up in kids and jobs and sports and it just consumes you for a while. So that's been the best thing is kind of coming back, reconnecting, just growing deeper in our relationship.
I think that's really solid advice. I am a free Uber driver for my children, driving them all over, everywhere and back for all of their activities.
Oh, we've been there, done that.
And we don't even eat dinner sometimes until 8:30 at night, 9 o'clock at night,
Oh,
which
Yeah.
because we don't get home until 8. So,
Yes.
it's just nonstop right after. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Larika, you had kind of talked about, how you use kind of your home base in Arizona there to reconnect with friends and family and community and kind of fill that cup up. In your guys' place where you stay in Arizona, are you doing a month to month at a campground, or do you have a piece of property, or are you kind of mooch docking at somebody's house? What does that home base look like for you guys?
It is a campground. This is our 3rd year here, and, it is relatively close to both of our kids, and so that's why we chose it. It's nothing special. I mean, it's got a few amenities, but it's perfect for us because sometimes it's about the location, and so, yeah, it's a campground. We do not have any property. I think we're way too big to boondock anywhere for, any of our family in the valley.
yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Our family doesn't have property either, so
Yeah,
there's nowhere to park this big old beast.
but it works for us because 'cause we've made amazing friends here. So
That's
what
great.
mhm.
If you guys, both of you, can give one piece of advice to anyone considering RVing, and I'm not just talking going full time, I'm saying, somebody's listening and they're like, I'm kind of on the fence about wanting to get an RV because I want to be a weekender, or no, I'm going to jump into full time RVing. What advice would you have for them?
I would probably say be prepared for anything. Brand new RV, used RV, old RV, it doesn't matter. Something will always go wrong, and you're always dealing with issues, big or small, no matter what. So Don't get an RV and think this is great, life is perfect, and everything is great. You will be always dealing with something with it. So tone down those expectations of this is the greatest thing in the world. And as long as you can adapt and go along with, you know, things that aren't going perfect at the time, it's a great, amazing life. And I love it so much. But you do have to kind of tamp down that quote unquote, this is perfect because you do have to deal with issues.
I would say don't wait because time is precious. If you have the opportunity, whether it's getting out on the weekends or going full time, don't let that fear of missing out or money, making more money or this or that. We've been through it all, and when we come back, especially with Kevin's retirement, the things that people say to him, other, law enforcement officers, and I wish I could do that. I would, but it's always an excuse. And I would just say, don't wait because it is amazing. The gift that you get for just going out there and seeing, like, you don't realize what this country has to offer, and it makes you so grateful, and the freedom that you feel doing and just being in these places is amazing.
Yeah, I think of it like you don't know what you don't know.
Mhm.
Like we've been to so far 26 states on our travels, and there are places that we went to we didn't realize one that they existed, and two how utterly amazing they were, and now we want to go back numerous times. So you don't know what you're missing until you don't know.
That is so
And
true.
I think a lot of people are very afraid to move forward, and I also think that, like, specifically in your career, Kevin, people there it's just more money, more money. They have the
Yep.
opportunity to retire,
Change is
they're just
scary
afraid
sometimes.
to, and so it is. It's very scary, but you have to be willing to say, "No, I want it." So
So the thing is, with law enforcement, the big thing about being a career law enforcement officer is you can retire super early. I was eligible to retire at 43. I retired at 51. But the big thing is always as you're getting near the end is, oh, you're going to retire. What are you going to do next? The mindset is always retire, get your pension, get another job, get another career, get another pension, and work till you're 65. And so many people that I know are doing that. I mean, as I was getting ready to retire, guys were coming up to me and saying, "Oh, that's awesome. You're retiring. Congratulations. Where are you going to work next?" I'm like, "I'm not." Oh my
poor
gosh. A
thing.
good friend of mine that I knew since day one at the police department, he actually passed away 2 weeks after he retired. He worked his butt off his whole career to build it up because his goal was to retire and enjoy life and everything else and not get that other job. But he did so much. He passed away 2 or 3 weeks after he retired and never even lived to see his first retirement check.
Yeah.
And that hit me hard.
Yeah.
And that made Lareka and I realize no, we are going to go and enjoy life and get out there and retire and not have that other job. Because even to this day, we come back for the holidays and we go to Christmas parties with guys I used to work with, and they all say the same thing. I wish I could do that, but I got this job offer from when I retire. And I'm like, why? You can do this if you want to. It's just like Rika said, that obsession with I wanna
Things.
keep working. I wanna keep working and get a second retirement, a third retirement, and then before you know it, you're gonna be almost 70 years old and too old to travel. I retired at 51,
Good for
and I
you.
don't have to work another day in my life if I don't want to, and we are just enjoying this life and doing all the things we can do at this young age. The hikes, the biking, the kayaking, everything that we do as we're traveling the country. I don't know if in 10 years physically, I'd have been able to do it if
Right.
I kept working another 10 years.
Well, let me ask you this. Where can listeners follow along on the two of you on your adventures? Where can they learn more about you guys and find you on social or on YouTube? Where can they learn more about your travels?
Yeah, so we started a YouTube channel, Retired Road Tripping, all one word, and we actually started the channel right at the time we placed the order for our RV. So our channel actually covers our journey from buying the RV to selling the house and the entire process going all the way through. it's just a documentation of our life and our experience in this full-time world. We've also got Instagram and Facebook, same thing, just at retired road tripping. And all three of those, and it just follows our journey. We aren't, we don't script anything. We don't travel for our channel. Our channel follows our travels. We're just very organic and honest. And hey, if we're sitting here for a month and not doing much, you're going to see us go grocery shopping. You're going to see us, you know,
Like,
organize the RV and make dinner and barbecue, because the whole purpose of us and our channel is to follow our real life adventures, not the other way around.
That's great. Well, Kevin and Lareka, thank you guys so much for coming on RV Out West today. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
thank
Oh,
you
thank
for
you, Brooke.
having
Yes.
us. Yes, it was an honor and pleasure.
Thank you for listening to RV Out West. If you're enjoying the show, I'd love for you to take a moment to leave a rating and a quick review on Apple Podcasts or with whatever app you use to listen to the show. If you've already done so, I sincerely thank you for that. Your feedback helps more RVers discover this podcast and keep our conversations rolling down the road. Did you also know you can text the show directly from a podcast app? Just click that link right there below the episode description. You can share a topic idea, ask a question, or just say, "Hey, I'd love to hear from you." So go ahead, tap that link, and ask away. And if you'd like a response, please be sure to include your email address. Lastly, give us a follow on Instagram and Facebook, where you can join in on the conversation. Next week, we sit down with Mark, a Portland local who lives full-time in his RV, yet spends only part of the year traveling. He shares why this lifestyle works for him and how he balances life in the city with life on the road. Tune in to hear his story and what he's learned along the way. Thanks so much for listening to RV Out West. Join us again next week. Please like and subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you choose to get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. I sure would appreciate it if you left a rating or a review of the show. Special thanks to Scott Holmes Music for providing us the intro song, We Are One. RV Out West can be found on Instagram and Facebook, where you can interact with us and follow along on our RV adventures around the Pacific Northwest. So get out there, explore, and go see what's beyond the horizon.